Very interesting. We're gonna start off first with gold. Let's see what gold is up to. This is some markups that I had marked up already from last night. We go back here in the Telegram. This is what I sent out last night during the London session at 2:18. Basically telling them where I'm gonna be buying the market or selling the markets. These are the analysis, right? So the analysis for today continues being the same. We did end up taking some trade during the London session. I'm gonna show you guys. So we took one trade during the London session. One of them was a stop loss, and then we enter originally the same exact position, which we end up hitting take profit to for 100 pips, but our runner got stopped at a break even, right? So we end up taking some buy position right around these zones over here. Our first buy was around the 32.90 area, which price action just went up a few pips and then went back, took us out of stop loss, so that was a loss. Originally, this was our areas of interest, but at first we did see that price action missed our areas of interest, which made these areas very high risk, right? So made these areas very high risk, which I end up deleting this limit, telling them to execute the market right above these zones, right? Now, during the London session, we did see that price action has pulled back towards these structures, which is over here, right? This is exactly where we managed to enter the same exact buy limit right after price action had this rejection, right? So we had the strong rejection, enter the buy limit, price action went up a few pips, over 100 pips, and then took us out of break even, right? Now, to give you guys the full analysis with gold, which is very simple. If we're taking a look here at gold overall at the higher time frame, right? Let me drink this quick. If we take a look here at gold off the higher time frame, we obviously are in a bearish market with gold, right? You guys can clearly see the whole entire change of character. From this structure over here, we were obviously creating higher highs and higher lows, just breaking above all of these structures, simply heading towards the upside. Clean uptrend, right? Now we take a look here. This was the round the second week of June, second week to the third week of June, where they see that price action has obviously tapped towards a higher time frame supply zone, which we started seeing price action had a switch of structure, right? Obviously from a bullish market towards a bearish market. We were above these zones. You guys already know these levels. We were above these areas. Price action broke underneath. We pulled back. We did form the first lower high. You guys can clearly see the whole entire bearish push towards the downside. Same thing, market just repeated itself. We broke underneath these other key levels over here, which is marked up at 33.50. We did see that price action broke over here, created a new low, pulled back, created a new lower high, still trading underneath these lower structure. Once again, this was over here Thursday. We broke underneath these other level, which at one point price action was holding above. It's a very nice demand zone, which obviously we did see some buyer opportunity. This is exactly where we end up taking some buyer opportunity as well, which notice how price action perfectly had a very strong sharp sell towards the downside. So obviously we broke underneath these lows, which means that we're obviously in a bearish market as well. Notice how we have perfect lower high structure of a higher time frame, right? Which still tells us, hey, the market is still overall in a bearish market, right? Now, after this entire strong drop towards the downside, notice exactly where we tap into, right? We tap towards these exact demand zone or support zone, which is set around the 32.55, 32.60, which as you guys can see in the past, used to be an area of resistance, right? Area of supply where we did see some type of seller opportunities, right? One point we broke above, we got a pullback. This is exactly where the first support foundation was formed. Where we obviously did see the price action was heading towards the upside. Same exact story. We pull back towards these exact lows over here, which is going to be considered as the weekly lows, right, from the previous week. Obviously, after this entire strong sell, we did tap towards these exact levels, which obviously in the past we did see some type of bullish action, which as of right now, price action is kind of doing the same exact thing, right? So history is just repeating itself. Now, if we take a look here at gold off a higher time frame, I would say the weekly, daily structure. We noticed that price action has really never broke underneath these levels till this over here was early May. We never broke underneath these levels till May, but notice how May broke underneath. We got a pullback, but obviously the bullish market started continue holding it, right? So we're taking a look at gold overall at the higher time frame. We're still overall in a bullish market, right? Overall still bullish market, but obviously trading down toward 4 hour, 1 hour time frame, we are short-term bearish, right? Now, for the daily time frame, it is still overall my analysis with gold is just simply going along with the trend, right? Obviously these buy position over here that I was looking for were counter trend due to the fact that we had a very strong rejection toward a major demand zone support zone. We did see that price action had a break of structure, which is confirmed as a switch structure, right? So notice how in these entire legs we were just simply heading towards the downside, creating these lower lows, lower high legs, lower low, lower highs, low. We have this high over here. Price action once again respected these lows, swept out all of these lows, and notice exactly where we bounced off, which is exactly towards these demand zones, right? Demand zone, the same exact zones where we did see the price action had a very nice bullish reaction from. So we had a rejection towards these demand zone. We rejected all of these entire lows. Notice how we broke above these entire highs over here, which was previous lower highs, right? This over here was previous lower highs. Notice how price action pulled back, formed this new higher low. So we are respecting these lows here. We are respecting these lows. We are respecting this market structure, right? Now, obviously, this is going to be considered as a counter trend trade buy opportunity, possibility, right? Not yet, but this is a potential opportunity buy position because again, we did respect these levels, broke above these areas, got the retest. We are seeing that buyers obviously attempting to push price even higher, right? Now, my idea is obviously for price to push a little bit higher due to the fact that we're still trading with the trend, right? So my main goal is to take price action to come back towards these zones, which is 33.15, 33.14, to then give sell in opportunities, right? So if we take a look at this from an intraday structure, we did see the price action broke underneath these entire lows, right? Notice how these lows over here, at one point, there were areas of support where obviously we did see that buyers were just attempting buys over and over, right? It wasn't until last week that we had a break underneath these levels, right? Which means that we still have all of these entire clean traffic that price action can definitely grab all liquidity towards these sides, right? So it's very simple. It's like it breaks underneath, you have all of these traffic, which price action still needs to clear off before it continues heading towards the downside, right? So at this point over here is just recovering from all of these entire drops, right? And especially after we tap towards these demand zone and we had it perfectly swept toward all of these entire lows, still shows us that price action has a probability of still cleaning up all of these entire traffic to then tap towards this level, which is exactly where we want to be, executed the markets, right? So that's going to be, we're overall with the gold position. As of right now, since we are kind of trading, again, we're still trading around these levels over here, which is interesting right now. This is where we have to be careful because again, this is where we might mess up and go against the trend since overall the trend is still bearish. So this is exactly where we need to be extra patient because we're looking for these counter trend trade buys, right? So these counter trend trade buys is going to be more high risk trade, which means that we need to be more aware of what we're actually looking for. For example, we are seeing that price action will drop down toward a lower time frame. We're low seeing price action that is trading between these lows over here, right? This lows over here is 32.80, and then we also have these highs over here. I would say 32.88, 32.89. So we're technically trading inside a minor ranges. So this is kind of the range that we are trading in as of right now with this New York session, right? So we're trading between these ranges, right? Notice how we never really broke above these highs over here. Notice how we never broke underneath these lows over here, right? So price action is just bouncing from one level to another level. If we take a look from a higher time frame perspective, overall, we're still bearish. We did see that during the London session, we tapped towards the same exact zone that we sold off from Friday London session. We did see that price action had a seller opportunity from here, but notice how we still respected above these highs over here, which still confirms we're still kind of, in a short-term bullish move, right? Now, I do like how price action is obviously respecting these lows over here, but it still doesn't really confirm for us to actually enter a buy opportunities, right? So the idea for today will be, if we do see the price, again, we are respecting these highs. As long as price can actually break above the 32.90, retest these zones and maintain itself above these areas, then this is exactly where I would like to get buy in opportunities, right? But obviously we need to see the break first. We need to see the retest, and then we need to see our confirmations, right? The only way that I will be giving a buy opportunities. Now, we do have some clean supplies over here, which price action, again, we are respecting it, which is 32.88. The only way that I'll be interested in selling, I'll be waiting for price action to break underneath these lows over here. As you guys can see, we're holding above these lows. Simply break it underneath these lows, which is set around the 32.80. Obviously, wait for the simple break and retest. Make sure that price action can obviously respect all of these entire levels. Form a supply zone. We simply go down to a lower time frame. Just wait for price action to give our bearish confirmation. Obviously, wait for those break of structure, switch the structure, and then we exactly enter the market. If we take a sell, we're obviously going to be targeting back towards these weekly lows, potentially even lower, right? If buyer still holds above these levels, then we're simply waiting for the opposite, which is simply a break above these highs to then pull the market all the way back toward our main areas of interest to then give sell the opportunity from there, right? So it's very simple with gold. That is the only setup that I'm looking at for today. We're going to take a look at US30, have it marked up US30. On Friday, we did end up with a very nice trade. You guys saw the breakdown from Friday. We end up taking a sell position later on throughout the session. This was a late session trade. We end up smashing final take profit for a 1-3 risk to reward, which was a very nice way to end out the week, right? So we're going to do a fresh market analysis with US30. So we're obviously going to be looking for key levels that we'll be interested in buying or selling the market for today. So let's see what's up with US30. Let's go off a higher time frame. So right off the bat, we obviously see that US 30 from last week, we did see some very aggressive bullish markets, right? Now, if we take a look here from the weekly structure, we did see that price action pretty much is stopping towards these exact lower time frame, or not lower time frame, previous supply zones, right? Which is set around the 4,400. So this is something to definitely have marked up for today. And then notice how this week candle, we are pretty much retesting the previous week highs over here, which is most likely grabbing liquidity, right? So this is exactly the zones where we definitely need to keep our eyes on, right? So we're definitely coming back towards these levels where we're gonna mark up 4,400 or 44,000, as you guys can see at one point. We did see that price action, we did form that supply, we did see an aggressive seller, right? So this is at the point over here, this is exactly where you guys gotta ask yourself this question. Hey, is price action gonna repeat the same exact thing? If it is gonna repeat the same exact thing, where exactly do I wanna be looking for these type of opportunities, right? So this is definitely the first zone that I'm definitely keeping an eyes on for today. So with this here, obviously that price action had a very aggressive bullish move last week. So if we go down toward a daily time frame, again, notice exactly where we are tapping. We're tapping at in this exact supply zone where we did see the same exact sell. This supply zone over here was formed, wow, this was all the way in March. So this was a March supply zone, which we did see the price action had an aggressive sell-off, right? From that exact point, we obviously had a very nice recover towards the upside. And then once again, price action has pulled back towards these zones. So it's kind of been like 3-4 months that price action has been trading around these areas, right? Now, taking a look from the daily time frame, obviously we do have some daily broken structure, right? If you guys take a look at these highs over here, these highs are going to be set around the 42,900, which obviously notice how price action had a perfect break towards the upside. We did have a minor pullback towards this level, which obviously price action did manage to maintain itself above, which we did see that price action had another push towards the upside, right? Now, obviously, we're not going to be dropping all the way down here right away. This drop over here will definitely be over almost 11,000 points, right? So obviously, that is a very far drop. So obviously, we won't be able to look for a good sell around these levels. That is very unrealistic. So it's not going to be somewhere that we can definitely target, but definitely if price action does continue bearish this week, that can be the potential full target for the whole entire week, right? So this is exactly why you guys want to mark up those weekly highs, those weekly lows. And if you guys take a look here at the weekly structure as well, notice how we broke above these weekly structures. So this is definitely a good zone. This is definitely a good zone for a potential full take profit. So we're going to actually mark this up as red. Or you know what, let's make it the money style. We're going to put it green. So this is definitely a full structure. If we take a look here at the weekly time frame, again, we are tapping towards the supply. Now, the supply zone, like I was telling you guys, this is exactly where you guys want to ask these type of questions to yourself. Like, hey, okay, we're tapping towards these major supply zone, right? Now you go down toward lower time frame. Where exactly do I want to sell the market? Do these zones over here make sense? Just because, oh, we break underneath these lows over here, we can potentially shift the structure, or are we looking for, you know, where zones where price action can definitely clear out traffic, which is grabbing all the liquidity, which is just faking out the entire buyers, and then just wait for price action to start having the manipulation, and that's exactly where you guys want to enter, right? So those are the type of questions that you guys want to ask yourself before you guys enter these obviously impulsive opportunity, just because we are tapping towards a supply zone, right, or a resistance zones, right? So just because we're tapping towards these zones doesn't really necessarily mean that price action is going to repeat the same exact things, right? So this is exactly where you guys want to look for context clue. So just off the bat of the weekly time frame, obviously we are in a bullish market. But this is that market at one point we maintain itself above these exact support, right? So in my knowledge at this point over here, right? So just by clearly looking at the market real quick, notice how we had a bullish push towards the upside at one point, right? This was the beginning of today, or the beginning of May, right? The beginning of May, we broke above these zones. Note exactly the supply zone that we were trading. Notice how we rejected this supply. With this, the price action had a short-term bearish move, but notice these exact weekly lows over here, which is previous areas of support. Notice how price action has broken above. We are pretty much tapping towards one zone, towards another zones, right? So we were trading around 42,880, and then we also were trading above the 41. I would say the 4,200 as well, which is this exact support foundation. Notice how price action was just bouncing from one level to another level. Obviously, since we were bullish, we respected these lows over here. That still shows, hey, price is overall still bullish. Yes, these over here are short-term sellers, right? So these levels over here that we're looking for, since we are still overall bullish, these levels over here that we're looking for is the recovery zones, right? The recovery zone, what I mean is the levels where price action is now having a potential pullback, right? So that's exactly where the market, those are the type of pullback that you can expect in the market. Either we tap toward a major zone, which price action obviously rejects from, to start having a pullback, either a bullish market or a bearish market, or obviously buyers are just exhausted, meaning that there has been overbought. The market has been overbought, meaning that it's time for the market to shift the structure, right? So those are the only things that we can expect for market to have to shift the structure. If we're taking a look here from the weekly time frame, we kind of have the same exact story as this one. We're tapping towards these supplies. We broke above these entire weekly structures over here. What are the chances that price action respect these supplies and we get the pullback to retest these entire weekly structures, since we had a very nice bullish candle closure, right? So overall, since we are tapping towards the supply, if price action does, repeats itself the same exact way, then my idea here will be price action to pull back towards this weekly structure to retest all of these highs over here. This exactly will tell us that, hey, US30 is still overall bullish. If we maintain itself above these levels over here, then obviously we will continue buying the market. But now if price action would have broken underneath these levels, then we just simply wait for market to start having a new price action to see how exactly would it sell off. Would it sell off around these zones, or would it tap overall around these areas and have the same exact bounce place, right? So it's just simply clearing out all liquidity towards these zones to then continue the market towards the upside, right? So it's going to be very simple. Market structure looks very simple at this point over here. So let's go down toward a 4-hour structure. We're going to see exactly where price action is trading. So again, we have these supplies. We do see that price action as of right now, we are trading above these levels. So obviously it's not ideally for us to sell the market whenever we are trading above a high. Obviously the goal here will be for price action to be underneath, right? So we're just simply going to mark up our London highs. We're also going to mark up our New York highs, which will be levels where price action might have liquidity from, and that's exactly where we want to sell the market. So let's see, we have our New York, our London highs right over here. We have our London lows, which price action has currently breaking underneath right now. If we take a look here, we do see that New York did respect the London highs, so we did see the obviously a sell opportunity from that point. It is 10:20, so we might be getting a entry confirmation very soon. This is the time that we like to execute the market. If we're taking a look here at the London lows, we did see a bounce off the Asian session lows as well. So that is something I have marked up as well. Now, obviously, sellers are playing out very nice right now. Exactly where we want to enter the market. We could have entered an opportunity right over here. This happened 10 a.m. or 10 a.m. exactly. We had a bounce. If I'm clearly looking at this, right, we're looking at it from a 1-minute perspective. Okay, this is very interesting here. So we have the 4,400. So you guys see that we are clearly just breaking underneath these entire lows. So we have broken underneath these lows, which is exactly what we want. The 5-minute hasn't closed. So I'm not going to be entering the market off an impulse move yet. So what we're basically going to be waiting for is to see how price action reacts, right? Now, another thing, this is kind of a turnoff since, again, we're still trading above a previous highs. So it's very logic here, which is why will we sell the market if the market is doing this, right? This is where the logic comes from. Why we sell the market if price action is now trading above these previous highs, right? So obviously if price action trades above these previous highs, we might see that price action just come here, grab towards a lower time frame demand zone, which is pretty much where the liquidity are sitting from. Liquidity, all these entire lows over here, and this is exactly where we might see that price action start having the shift to structure, right? So this is exactly why I don't want to sell just right away, since we're still trading above a major highs, right? So the only way that I would like to sell the market here, since we are breaking underneath all of these minor lows, I would like to see price action have a minor pullback. If we do see that price action has a minor pullback and maintain itself underneath these levels over here, 4,400, then definitely I will be selling the market, and then we just simply target back towards these lows over here. So that will be the game plan today with US30, which is very, very simple. So notice the 30-minute has not closed. This is obviously horrible for us to be entering an impulse move. So we're going to be waiting. We're going to be waiting to see how price action rejects. So we're definitely going to be trading this from a lower time frame perspective. So we respected New York, we respected London highs. New York came back, respected, grabbed liquidity towards these zones. Did see some seller action. We did break underneath these exact London lows, which price action once again pulled back. We are seeing the same exact inspection, right? These are short-term move, but the overall idea is to still trade with the overall trend, which is obviously bullish, right? And if we notice the overall trend, we cannot make up something when there is nothing, right? In the sense that we are trading above these highs. So while we will, why will we give sell an opportunity, right? There's no sales opportunity just yet. So I will tell you guys exactly where I will be interested in selling the market. Like I just explained to you guys, any pullback towards this level, we remain above above, I'm looking for those, or below, I'm looking for the sells. Now, since we are respecting a all-time highs over here, since we're respecting above these highs over here, notice how price action is now sweeping out these entire lows over here, grabbing demand zones over here. This is exactly where we might be looking for a potential buy opportunities, and we just go along with the trend. So since we're just sweeping off all of these lows over here, the only way that I'll be entering a buy opportunity will be simply a break above these highs, a retest, and then we'll be giving a buy an opportunity. So that will be the only way that I'll be giving buy today with US30. So let's just be patient here. I'm going to be waiting for a break underneath these lows, exactly where I will be entering the market for a sell opportunity. And then a break above these highs is where I'll be entering a buy opportunity. So 44.10. Let me just have that up. And then we also have 43.960. Again, this my setup over here, to be honest with you guys, if I'm looking at this setup, this over here is definitely, the accumulation over here, we have a manipulation, which is just sweeping off these lows. So this is where we need to be careful now, right? Since we have that manipulation over here, overall the trend is still bullish. This might be a new entry model that we might be getting, right? So if price action breaks above these highs over here, definitely looking for buys. But if we respect underneath these lows and break under these previous lows over here, definitely looking for sells. So if we look at the 5-minute time frame, 5-minute kind of did close. We did grab a lot of liquidity towards the downside. So this is where we need to be careful. I'd rather wait for these wicks over here or these previous lows to get broken before we enter a sell. So it's still not confirmed 100% clean. So this is where we need to be careful. So I'm going to send this out inside the Telegram. So taking a look here at US30, we did see a bullish push towards the upside, a minor push. We broke above these highs over here, which is exactly where we want to give the buying opportunities, right? So the goal here will be as long as we close above the 4400, that I'm definitely going to be entering the buy position right now. But again, notice how we broke above these minor highs over here. We got this perfect break of structure. Now we're just waiting for price action to retest these broken structure, which is currently doing at the moment. So as long as we close above the 4400, then I'm definitely giving the buying opportunities. Now, obviously, if we do see that price action starts trading underneath these lows over here, the only way that I will be giving sells will be a break underneath these lows over here. So we're going to set up an alarm again at 44.10. I'm going to set up the alarm at 44.10. Looks like we might get an entry very, very soon. So a closure above these highs here, then I'm definitely entering the buys. But right now, we're still trading underneath those levels, so it's not very high probability for us to enter yet. We're taking a look here at gold. I mean, sucks that we were right with the analysis. We just got stopped at a break even. At this point here, we're just going to wait to see how price reacts around these highs. Again, these are the minor highs that I was explaining to you guys, that we're just simply ranging between these highs and then ranging between these lows. So we're just going to see exactly how price action rejects, right? If we do see that price action rejects around these highs over here, then we might see some on short-term seller opportunities. Now, again, for me to give you guys like a high probability setup, I'm only going to be waiting for price to break underneath these underneath these lows for me to give these sells, right? But if we're still trading above these highs over here, it will be very high risk sell for us. So we're not going to be entering any trades around these levels over here. So for overall, I would say US30 is the maybe setup of the day. Gold is still not 100% built yet, so we're gonna have to step out for now. But I'm definitely gonna send this update inside the Telegram, because these were the zones that we did give buy the opportunity last night. All right, so check this out. We broke underneath these lows over here. Now, since we are breaking underneath these lows over here, this is where we got to be obviously careful, because obviously these lows over here can mean two things. Either we break up under these lows, which is just price action clearing off all of these lows over here so it can continue the bullish move, or we actually start seeing the bearish action start taking over, right? So since we did obviously pull back, rejected all of these entire highs over here, we did see the short-term seller, plus just going along with the move of the day, which is just short-term sellers. This is the zones where obviously we're gonna have to keep an eye on. So I'm gonna wait to see how price action reacts around here. So we broke underneath these lows. All I'm waiting for now is just obviously a proper confirmation. If we take a look here at the 5 minutes, the 5 minute hasn't closed, and this 5 minutes over here looks like it's just grabbing liquidity from these lows over here. So again, be just very patient. We're gonna wait to see how price reacts. If we do close underneath right now, then I'm taking the sell. But if price action just again maintain itself above how it is right now, then I'm not entering the market. But let's see. But we're gonna set this up as a sell stop. So 43,905 is where we're gonna sell it. We do have the break. 43,905 would definitely be the area of interest. Wait, let's not, hold up. Let's just not enter the market yet. But let me just have it ready so I can send it out to them. You see, this is where it gets dangerous because, again, those might be just fake outs. Because, again, we're so overall bullish. So this is where it gets dangerous. Or cautious, where we have to be patient. So, again, we're going to have to wait. These sells over here obviously is very fucking risky because we're overall still trading around these levels over here. We're still retesting these zones, right? So this is still risky for us. So we're just simply grabbing liquidity towards these exact demand zones, and then notice how we are sweeping. So obviously these sells are very risky. Now since we are breaking above these highs, looks clean. Let's see, hold up. Yeah, you know what? So yeah, this is all manipulations over here. So we're gonna give buy an opportunity over here. We just enter a buy position with US30. We took it buy at 43,940. So we're gonna set up the TPs. 43,940 is our entry. Let me take a buy. Perfect. So 43,940 is our entry. Stop loss is going to be underneath these previous lows, 43,840. All right, so we have a solid 5, solid 15 candle closure above all of these previous lows. At this point here, we're just letting the market do the thing. Now, obviously, the only thing that will really fuck up this trade, since we did see some kind of seller opportunity this earlier today during the London session and then during the New York session, the only thing that will really fuck up this trade if we do see a candle closure underneath these lows over here and then just trading on overall underneath these levels. So that will be the only way that will, kind of fuck up these entire buys that we're taking. But I do like the overall setup. I do like how we just manipulated all of these lows, just grab all the liquidity from here. We had that break of structure, and then look at this. We're kind of having the push right now. So we have these lows. As long as we respect these lows, then we're good to go. And then we also have these minor lows over here that just got formed. So it's just, at this point, it's just a game of patience. Let's see. Going back to gold, let's see how gold is pretty much moving. Yeah, this is just fucking ranging between two zones. So we're back, and here's the update on the US30 buy position that we're in right now. So as we speak, we're about to hit, well, we just hit take profit 3 for 90 points. We're about to hit the last take profit for 100 points. So as of right now, I am currently up $300 with this position. Beautiful trade, beautiful execution and everything. So I'm about to call this out. TP3 just smashed 90 points. Yo, that was a very nice execution, right? We literally waited for everything to happen. That was beautiful. So we're going to put this secure half and let runner do their job. All right, so let's see. We're about to hit TP4. We're so close to TP4 as well. But this was a very beautiful execution, guys. Very simple, exactly what we anticipated, right? So look at that. There we go. TP4 smash. There we go. So TP4 hit $330 in profit. Beautiful, guys. That is fucking beautiful. Look at that. This is exactly what we fucking do. So we're gonna put TP4 here. Flying, very nice. So I'm currently up, same point, 330-ish. But let me give you guys, again, the very quick rundown. We're still overall bullish, right? Remember what I told you guys. I'm not interested in selling the market until we actually have confirmed broken lows. Notice how all of these lows over here, low wicks, they were just simply, you know, obviously grabbing liquidity, right? So as soon as we broke underneath these lows, notice how we never broke underneath these other lows over here, which we actually had the broke above, and then we got the pullback. We actually entered the market right above these areas over here. Price action was a little bit ranging, but notice how I told you guys, as long as we respect these lows over here, right, which is exactly what price action did over here. We respected that. We maintained itself above it. I'm still going to be holding this position, but the only way that I will adjust my whole entire bias would have been if price action would have actually broken more lower, right? So around the 43,900-ish, it will be the zone that will be marquee. This is what price action is currently doing right now, right? So we stepped out of this, right? We entered the buy position as soon as we end up taking these lows over here, broke above, got the retest. That's exactly where we entered the buy position. Again, if we're taking a look at this on a higher time frame perspective, we're still overall bullish, right? So this is beautiful. If we're going a little bit short term, now we're having the intraday break of structure above these low highs over here, or we can say lows over here, which was again the London lows, which price action is now breaking above. 15-minute time frame looks clean. Everything looks perfect as of right now. We're going to be tapping towards our first TP, which is, you know, the main take profit where we're going to go break even or secure half, which is going to be at the 44,110, which is going to be above these New York highs slash London highs. If price action managed to break above these highs over here, then we can definitely see price action push even higher. So this setup over here running very nice, very, very, very nice. So we got everything we wanted. You guys saw the execution. You guys saw the plan. It is what it is, right? We do this. Beautiful. So let's just let the market do its thing. We have the entry at 43,940. And then our stop loss is at 43,840. Perfect. And then our take profits always going to be at a 101.3. 103 risk to reward 44,240. Beautiful, guys. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so calling it a session here. If we take a look here at gold, I'm pretty sure it's not really doing as much. Yeah, so as you guys can see, it's just ranging between these 2 kilos over here. It's not really a confirmed setup. I do overall like how price action did manage to maintain itself above our main areas of interest where we were interested in buying the markets. But notice how there was a lot of volume, meaning that price action has to push, pulls back. We have all those wick noises coming back towards these demand. It is good idea, obviously, that we did maintain itself above, which is exactly what we wanted. But there was never a good entry or re-entry confirmation for us. So obviously, if this trade does plays out very nice, we were overall right with the analysis, but there was never a proper re-entry confirmation for us to give another buy and opportunities, right? So we're gonna skip this part. I might not be trading gold today. We got the profits that we wanted with US30, so that's cool. So we're just gonna let the market do its thing now. I might look for gold, see how it reacts around these areas. But it is already coming late to the session. It's already coming to the noon session, so let's just see what happens. But that's pretty much it, guys, for today live trading session. We got a win with US30. Beautiful, what we wanted. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.